o Gelakasla, Gelakasla Dokola, Nugwa Nalaga, Gayuklin La Kwakwakyot Get Ligwithdao, Kautkuna Hinu Di Kian. My English name is Avis, and my Kwakwa name is Nalaga, which means bringer of daylight. And my Haida name is Kautkuna, which means sitting great or one who sits great. I come from the Kawas Eagle clan in Haida Gwaii and the Gigilgum Namima of the Ligwithdao, which is one of the 18 tribes of the Kwakwakiwak. I run a business called Nalaga Consulting, and my business, we offer land-based cultural empowerment facilitation, so really connecting Indigenous people to the land, to our culture as a way of healing from the ongoing and attempted colonial genocide enforced against Indigenous people. My work with non-Indigenous folks is to build allies and allyship and dismantle negative stereotypes and racism that circulates in our society about the First Peoples of this land. Spelling my name, Avis, A-V-I-S.
Your last name?
O'Brien, O''Brien. Connecting, healing through the land and culture is important to me because it's what has kept me alive over the last 15 years. I've been on the Red Road for 15 years, and these are the practices that have kept me alive. They've kept me healthy as can be, balanced. It's about systemic, the systemic separation from our identities that the federal government enforced to remove everything about who we are as people. My work is reclaiming all of those parts of ourselves that were taken, and it's important to me because I want to be part of the change. I want to be part of, one day at the end of my life, maybe the leading cause of death of Indigenous people won't be suicide. I want to be a very small part of that change, and that's why this work is important to me. On the land, healing and cultural reclamation is important because we're in a very important time of transition right now, where the narrative, like the general narrative, is changing. The uncovering of the graves across Canada outside of residential schools, you cannot acknowledge that this country wasn't built off of the genocide of Indigenous people. And so with this narrative changing, there's a lot of folks who are wanting to reclaim those parts of themselves. And there's a lot of non-Indigenous people who are also wanting to be part of the change. And I really believe that, it's taken 500 years for us to get here. Genocide has been enforced on Indigenous people for 500 years. And now we're in a time of change, and things are going to change, but it's not going to happen overnight. And so that's why cultural reclamation is so important, because these are the things that can help us to heal from trauma. Trauma gets stored in the cells in our bodies. Trauma is not cognitive. It doesn't live in the mind. It lives in the body, lives in our breath, it lives in our nervous system. And so healing on the land and reclaiming our culture, those are the things that act as antidotes. Antidotes to the spirit of suicide, antidotes to all of the suffering that exists. And these are the things that kept our people healthy, well, and balanced. Probably the most important or integral on the land practice for me is working with the medicine of cedar. Cedar is a medicine that has really changed the trajectory of my life in a positive way. It's helped me to feel proud of who I am and where I come from. It's a medicine that absorbs our energy, our emotional, spiritual energy. So working with cedar, weaving, harvesting, that's probably the most integral practice for myself. Cold water cleansing is another one. And drumming and singing have become my main way of regulating one's nervous system. And it's always easily accessible. We can sing anytime, as long as we're alive, we can sing. And singing is so important because we don't sing to sound good. We sing because our ancestors were imprisoned for singing. We sing because our ancestors are all around us. There's a Haida teaching called Sinsanyue, and that means the spirit that is everywhere and the spirit that is in everything. And when we sing, our ancestors, they live in the trees, they live in the Awitnagwis, the land, they live in the water. And when we sing, we bring so much joy to them, knowing that we're carrying on the good work that they left for us, that they were imprisoned for, that they died for. Our ancestors died for us to carry on this work, and I feel it's my responsibility. And outside of that, it helps me to heal. You know, when we sing, we activate the vagus nerve, which is a really, really important part of healing trauma, is activating and stimulating that nerve. And singing is one of the ways that that we can do that. So, singing. What I would want people to know about land-based healing is that, you know, these practices were targeted, they were outlawed, they were made illegal for our peoples to practice because these are the things that kept us healthy and well and balanced. These are the things that made us strong as Indigenous people. And that's exactly the reason why they were systemically taken from us and made illegal. So in terms of us moving forward as a people, healing from the ongoing and attempted forces of genocide, reclaiming our culture, reclaiming our languages, connecting with the land. These are the things that are going to move us forward as a people. My hope for doing this work, land-based healing and cultural reclamation, is to help inspire folks to systemically remove the shame that was put on us, to help Indigenous people to feel proud of who they are, to feel connected to their identity, because when we know who we are and where we come from, it provides us with a sense of spiritual protection. So when we're faced with racism and stereotypes and some of the ugliness that exists in our society, we can be rooted in who we are and where we come from. I'm Kwakwaka'wakw, I'm Haida, and like that spiritual protection can help to bounce off all of that negativity that sometimes circulates in the world. And I also believe that our culture is an antidote to suicide, and suicide is the leading cause of death of our people. And for me, living with the spirit of suicide is a direct result of being sexually abused, which is a direct result of residential schools. And this is an epidemic in our community. So that is my hope. My hope is that people can reclaim those parts of themselves to feel proud and to heal from trauma and to carry on the good work that our ancestors left for us.